Now is the time. A time you'll look back on. A time you adopt as inspiration. You will recollect this time. This moment, right now. Motivate yourself towards success. Overcome. Take over. The time is now.
Get in, a victory. How long were we waiting for that? We finally got our win, our second win of the season. How does it feel, Pete?
It feels fan bloody tastic, doesn't it?
It does.
I'm in such a good mood today. Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get into it, but fucking 3 points we were so desperate from. Managed to get it. Everything fell into place. Fucking get in there. Come on.
You were even pre-show. He just ripped his shirt off when he came on first. He was that excited about the win. But
I was so excited for the show that I forgot to grab one. I was just lounging around in this, ran to get onto the show, forgot to even grab one. I thought, I can't be asking back upstairs now. So I'm on.
You're okay, Pete.
You're anyone's offended, but.
You're among friends. You're all right. Right. Yeah, we're waiting all week for Saturday to come, and when Saturday came, it did not disappoint. So, absolutely delighted. But let's get into it. Just Pete, myself tonight, and but yeah, let's look at when the team news dropped first. So, what was your initial reaction, Pete, to the team news? I know mine was, but what was yours?
Yeah. One of surprise. I've got to be honest. Genuinely surprised at the lineup. I was excited because the first name I saw when it popped up was Sven Botman, so I was like, the big man's back. And
the first name I saw was number 23.
And what was your reaction to it, Dan?
Oh no, have we not sold him yet? But yeah, no. Yeah, it was, obviously there's no Isaac. We knew that already. There's no ASM. We kind of knew that just before the team was announced. Target on the bench was a strange one for me. Anderson was back on the bench, of course, but yeah, Murphy and no Joe Linton. That was like we've always said Joe Linton's probably the first name on the team sheet now, so that was strange, I guess.
Definitely. First thing I thought was injury. When I didn't see him in the starting lineup, because I always kind of go from top to bottom. Like Nick Pope went down the line, Seal Botman, yes, Botman's in. And looked, I was like, okay, Sean Longstaff, okay, fine. Didn't see Joe Linton's name, saw Murphy's there, I was like, what the hell is going on? But then saw Joe Linton on the bench and thought, can't be a drop-in, surely. But obviously, Eddie Howe's already confirmed after the game why he didn't play. But yeah.
What did he say, Pete? I didn't hear that.
Okay, so basically after the Bournemouth game, he got a knee injury, and over the international break hadn't really trained. Okay. So the one thing he said is typical Joe Linton. Joe Linton asked to be in the squad. He wanted to be involved today. Okay. And Eddie Howe was kind of reluctant to do it, being Eddie Howe and Joe Linton being Joe Linton. But he obviously they must have agreed to have him on the bench in emergencies. And obviously, how the game planned out, you don't want to take a risk on that player. But Eddie Howe said he's going to rest him for hopefully the next game. But just another name on there, Daz, and I don't want to get your thoughts on this. Like. Yeah. Obviously there was talk about ASM potentially being back and he'd been training and looking okay. What was your reaction when you saw that he wasn't in the squad at all?
Yeah, well, I kind of read that on Twitter beforehand that it didn't look like he was going to be in the squad, so I wasn't surprised when I looked at this picture then. But I just there's no point rushing him back if he wasn't fully fit. But hopefully be back for next weekend, and hopefully we can carry on this momentum now and get another win. More of the same next week, please. That'll do me.
That's it. That's the aim. That is the aim. 100% is how we build on that. But yeah, it was interesting. What were your thoughts about Dan Burn starting ahead of Target?
Yeah, that was the surprise. Actually, I think that was partly rather than Jacob Murphy. That's where my eyes were drawn to first. Dan Burn there, because I don't know he's played a left back before, and he has played there for Brighton before as well. But I just thought, okay, what's the story with Target then? And yeah, I will get into a bit about Brian, because Dan James liked to run at him today as well. You can see the difference in pace. No offense to Dan Burn, but he with some pace on Daniel James, so it doesn't really suit him, the left back position, if you ask me. But let's move on a bit, Pete. This is the Fulham team then as well, and that is Chalobah in the picture, isn't it?
It is.
I wasn't 100% sure. Yeah, so he plays a major part later on. Thanks, Chalobah. But yeah, in the crowd as well. There's with the owners. You see Declan Donnelly, shit a brick. Deck was in the audience today, so that's great. And what have we said? Like Adam P came out and made a statement that people coming up to him looking for pictures and stuff like that. Look, it's happened to him everywhere he goes. People coming up to him looking for pictures with him. But there's Garang Cowell, our new signing, and nice one, Adam, getting a snap with him. And he was at the match today, and loads of people got pictures of him. So in the crowd, it's a nice one, Garang. Welcome to Newcastle.
Yeah, great to see. You know what? That I loved seeing him in the crowd, because he's talked really positively about the bit signing for Newcastle and the atmosphere and all the rest of it. But it's one thing to say it, but there's another to actually go and want to experience it when he doesn't. Exactly. No one's expecting him to. So to be in there is brilliant. And Adam P, always the one to get those exclusives. He got that. He got the initial picture out there. Fair play to him. And if anyone hasn't watched his sort of blog from the game today, it's already out. After you've watched our review, go and hit that up, because it is a really good watch. It kind of made me feel a little bit envious of all the traveling 2,300 that were at the away game, because I was desperate to get there, but travel-wise, it just wasn't viable for me today. But yeah, go and watch his vlog afterwards, because it's a good one.
And as well, both Adam and Paul are up for awards, so make sure you get voted for the guys as well, those upcoming awards. Right, let's get into the game. And actually, before we do, I want to say, because I always leave this to the end, make sure if you're watching us for the first time, you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that like button as well, either now or on your way out or whenever. I like this.
It's just one click. But it takes a second.
Yeah. Exactly. And it costs nothing. Right, let's get into the game. First half, there was a early chance. Dan Burn, I don't have what happened there. Wilson had a chance anyway on the fourth match. Then getting into the main talking point in the match, which went to VAR, is this one. It's the tackle by Chalobah on Sean Longstaff on the 5th minute. So then this went to VAR, as I said, and a bit of what's going to happen here moment. I was sure then that when I saw the ref coming back to the player, he took out a yellow card first. I said, oh, he's just going to give a yellow. Typical. Yeah, of course, if it was the other way, if the shoe was on the other foot, it would be our player off. He's only going to give him a yellow. But no, he gave him a red. So that really changed the game on the 5th minute. So it was never happens to us. So what was your thoughts on the tackle, Pete? Was it a red?
Yeah, 100% a red. Daz. I watched it. Obviously, I was watching the game, and when it happened, The angle that it is from the stadium looking down, it just looked like a late challenge, a yellow card, fair enough. When you watch the replay and it's from the other angle, from almost the other side of the pitch, you see the contact. For me, I was waiting for the referee to kind of like, when he puts his finger to his ear as if he's being told something, because for me, it's a red card. It's a red card. There's no doubt about it. It's a high challenge, high top end of the ankle. That's an ankle breaker. If you look at where they stop it, Sean Longstaff ankle, it bends. Like he's caused it to bend, and that's an ankle breaker. I know that because that's how I had my ankle broken 4 years ago playing. So I know that that's a potential ankle breaker, and fortunately for Sean Longstaff, it wasn't. But it's a dangerous, reckless challenge. It's not like that foot. So you can see Chalobah's foot there. At no point does that right foot that connects with Longstaff ever slide on the floor. If it had slid in on the floor on the grass and then made contact, it would have been a yellow card. But the fact that it was high, the fact that he was off the ground, that foot was off the ground until the point of impact, can cause a broken bone. So for me, therefore, it has to be a red card.
Happy with that? Red card. Off you go.
Yeah.
Then I think we all probably said game on here. We have to get something out of this now. This is our chance to get our win. So up into 11 minutes later, Trips with a cross, Willock with a decent header back. It looked like it was going in. I think it probably was going in, and it was a nice little tap in from Wilson. Bang, 1-0 Newcastle. And let me just get my little. Here he is, Wilson with the goal. So happy with that, off the mark, and great to have Wilson back, of course. Yeah, we didn't mention that as well in the team lineup, where how we missed him, and especially with Isaac not making the squad today. Great to have him back. 1-0 up. What do you make of the first goal? And it went to VAR as well, and it seemed to take an age actually, this one, to make a decision. It was clear goal, but like,
why go to VAR? What was the need for it? It was clear. Even the commentators on the stream that I was watching were saying there's nothing wrong with it. It's onside. Like, it was so simple, so easy. The fact they took so long, it was just like, come on, don't do this to us again.
I don't know it was the same commentary team I had with people. They said, and the first check is complete, and that's ruled in Newcastle's favour. No, let's go to the second one. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Are they trying to find Anthony to cancel out the goal here or something?
Honestly, it did feel like a little bit like deja vu for a period of time where you thought we're going to get screwed here, but there was clearly nothing wrong with the goal. But what I would say, Daz, is, and I'm sure you'd agree, it was a very well worked goal.
It was,
we used the ball really, really well. Great ball in. Willock arriving in the box, getting his head onto the ball, which we become accustomed to when he was on loan with us for his loan season. But then, was it going in? I don't know. It's that age-old question. I don't know if you've listened to Callum Wilson's interview after the game. Wilson and Willock had a few words. I think maybe at half time, Willock wasn't happy that he felt that Wilson stole his goal. But it's one of them. You don't know whether it's going to go in. It could quite easily hit the post and come back out. So, I was more than happy that Wilson stole that and made sure.
I didn't look at it again. I keep watching the other. I have it actually, as I said to Pete, I have it in front of me here now. The goal that's coming next. I keep playing it over and over again. That's slow motion. But I haven't watched that one back again. So probably catch that match today or something later on. But anyway, yeah, he was right. Put it in and make sure of it. Then let's go fast forward another little bit. And 26 minutes, Wilson had a shot that he kind of a chip over the bar. Was a better finish was needed, and it could have been 2-0 up, but never mind that. On to the 32nd minute, and this is the beautiful move here, and I'm gonna talk you through it, Pete, as I kind of fast forward. So Miggy has the ball out in the wing. He passes it back out to Bruno, and if this is the same combination for his other wonder goal against, wasn't it Southampton? I think it was.
Palace last season.
Yeah,
Is it
exactly.
Palace?
Palace, sorry, yeah, Palace last season, and chip in by Bruno, loop and chip in for Bruno, and smack on the not didn't let it bounce first time at Miggy, and looping over the keeper and pretty much top corner, top bins from the other side. It was that was the only way he was going to score from that angle. It was absolutely class strike, and he went over to celebrate with the crowd then, and rightly so. And I actually have a bit of that here. So that's the looping shot over, and here is celebration. And here's another angle from that. Here he is, loving it, loving it.
That's
So
bad.
that's me. I don't know who had that up on Twitter, but yeah, fair play, love it. So yeah, and let me press the little button for Miggy to ensure he gets the goal. Goal, Miggy. Happy
There
days.
he is. Get it.
Then we fast forward. Oh, sorry. What are your thoughts on that goal first, Pete?
Well, what can you say? It's what? Check my watch. It's October the 1st, 2022, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be goal of the month for October on the first day of October. What a strike! You know what? Like again, it was really, really good play. The technique. The commentators. I think we had the same commentators, Daz. They were saying. I think they asked each other. Did he mean that? And the other commentator went, "Yeah, he definitely meant it."
Yeah.
And it was as the replay was coming again. As that ball comes over, he's watching it. He's only got one thing in mind. He's always hitting it with his left foot on the volley. He only had one thought in his mind, and that technique is just unbelievable. To score a goal like that. Doesn't matter what the circumstances are. I can't take anything away from Bruno Guimaraes. That first time ball, to get the ball that high from a touch like that,
Yeah.
like he generated so much height in that little ball into feet was just fantastic. But we've come to expect that from Bruno now because of how good he is. But the technique, everything was perfect, unsavable goal. And interestingly, lots of people have questioned Miggy. We questioned him at the end of the season whether he'd still be here. Some people have questioned him more recently, not necessarily us, but some people have. But I think he's proven the doubters wrong. And what I love about it as well is the way in which the players are talking about him. I think they recognise what he's doing for this team, how hard he works, and they could not be happier for him. Before he was even named man of the match, they were telling him he was man of the match on some of the game, which says everything you need to know. The players love him, and Eddie Howe loves him, and it was fully deserved today. Super, super goal.
And I was just thinking, Pete, like rightly, it was actually the first time we did our squad game, and we a lot of us said we'd sell Miggy, and I think we said at the time potentially would have kept Murphy or something like that, but that was because the Murphy had the long contract and the age of Miggy.
Yeah.
But now, yeah, it's unthinkable that you'd go that way. But we always talk about the turnaround of Joe Linton under Eddie Howe. Should we now starting to talk about the turnaround of Miggy, because since then it's been up, it's been unreal for us. So it's getting to the stage now that he's coming into the same bracket as Joe Linton in the turnaround that he's had under Eddie Howe.
Definitely, and you know what? I think it was quite fitting that in the build up to this game this week, a friend of the channel, Kev Lawson, from Wire Scout, obviously did some work around Miggy, and obviously Newcastle's Twitter put it out there to kind of show how Miggy's games come on, and I think very, very fitting how he's then gone and put those performances in. I said it earlier on in the season, particularly after the Forest game. That Forest game, although he wasn't as productive in front of goal, you could really see what Howe wants from him tactically, and what he wants from him tactically might not always get the goals and assists, but what it does, it allows the team to play the way we want to play, and he's a big part of that. I think the one or two that were saying, with the fact that Murphy was playing, it was the perfect opportunity to play Murphy on the right, Miggy on the left. But no, Eddie Howe stuck with it. He wants him on the right. There's a clear structure and role within the way he wants to play. And you know what? I'll go as far as saying that this period of time has probably been the most productive and the best Miggy's had at the club since he signed.
Agree, definitely.
And it's great to see him. We've got to remember he's only 28 years old, so he's still got loads of time left to keep performing and keep growing as a player. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Daz?
Yeah, no, just picking up on what you're saying there. Yeah, look, like 28 to me would seem old in terms of football, but the project we're in, we need solid players that can do a job now and for the next couple of seasons. So yeah, he can play a part, and yeah, then if we expand or it dips in form or whatever, we can look to sell him on. And clubs would take him off us now. Back that when we said squad game, we would struggle to get a decent price for him, but they'd rip our hands off now to take him. But he's not for sale. Well, we want him. We want him in the squad, and the way he's going, I don't know what his contract was. He probably will get a new contract if he keeps playing the way he's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no harm. Right, on to move on another little bit past that wonder goal onto the 35th minute. Mitro's on fire, but not today. He went off after 35 minutes. Didn't do much at all today. I know it didn't go well for the start again for Fulham, but did he fancy it today, Pete?
No, Mitro shat it. He absolutely shat it. I was saying to a couple of lads I know earlier, I was like, he shat it. Botman had him in his pocket. Shaw was dealing with him comfortably. They then went 2-0 down after a guy gets sent off, and then very, very quickly after that, Mitro goes down holding the ankle that was supposedly injured but not injured in international break. And very quickly he's off the pitch. I think Mitro knew his day was up. He knew it was going to be in for a long day. And rather than run himself in the ground and maybe cause further injury, he just thought, yeah, I'll sit this one out today. And took a seat on the bench. I'm convinced of that, and nobody will change my mind. I think he shat it. He didn't look at it early on because Botman was in on him, big and strong early doors. Shaw was there. He wasn't getting a look in, and this is exactly what we were saying beforehand in the build-up to the game when Mitro was getting talked about. It was like, okay, Mitro's playing well, but he hasn't scored against us yet, and he's probably coming up against his best defensive partnership that he's ever faced coming against Newcastle in Shaw and Botman. So for me, I was always confident we'd keep him quiet. Those boys did exactly what they needed to, and it was happy days. I was quite happy to wave him off and
Cheerio.
say, "Cheerio, go get your ice pack." We'll see you in the turnaround picture.
Mitro quenched, love it. Right, then on to 37 minutes, and Murphy had a shot. He should have passed it. No, Wilson was making a break into the box as well. I would have passed it there, but Murphy, and we will get into it in the rains. Murphy was involved in a lot, but nothing ever worked out for him. But anyway, we'll get to that at a later stage. Longstaff then on the goal on the 43rd minute, Botman's header, and we're all wishing for that to go in. Really, saved, hit the post, and follow up by Longstaff tap in, and Sean Longstaff off the mark for the season, and very, very happy. And I have a little video, not a video, but a little clip of for Sean Longstaff as well. So the more the lads that score, the more these little clips I'll have to get. So I've only got 6 so far. Right. So what did you make of that one, Pete?
Again, really well worked. I have to be honest. There is a very small part of me that just wished that Botman header creeped into the bottom corner, because like anyone that watches the Loaded and watches his boys, they know how much I love him. I love him to bits. The guy's just fucking class. He's just fucking class. He's only 22. What was even more apparent is that he's a threat from attacking areas, and he showed it again today. Brilliant header to get that power in that direction on it. Good save from Leno. Fair play to him. I think he tipped onto the post. But yeah, all good. This is what we want from midfielders, though, isn't it? We want them to be there when the ball drops, to get on the end of it. We want those contributions. And people have got their arguments about Sean Longstaff. On this channel, we've said when he's played well, we've given praise.
Yep.
We've also said when he's played shit. And let's face it, he's turned up today and he's got an important goal. So fair play to him. He was there when we needed him.
Exactly. Yep. No, solid game today. Right, that brought us to halftime and 3-0 up. It's not often you see that. Being a Newcastle fan, 3-0 up at halftime. Can't remember the last time I saw that. And some of the stats from I don't know if you can look at, but I just grabbed them as well. Like just ball possession of 77%. Well, I suppose we did have the extra man, but we were all, for the whole game. We're all over them. We saw not just the first half.
It's interesting you say that, and to be fair, there's a few, like, just seeing on social media, there's a few opposition fans that like obviously are replying to Newcastle tweets saying, "Oh yeah, but they were down to 10 men from 7 minutes." But I'm not being funny. I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but we were dominating them even before the red card. Like we were
the first 4 men.
Yeah, I mean,
well, we had a shot on goal. Yeah, there was Wilson shot on goal in that first 4 minutes. So yeah, we came out of the blocks early.
So, it's not like it was not like it was a tight game and that red card opened it up for Newcastle's favour. If I'm right in thinking, in the first what, 120, 140 seconds of the game, we had a corner. Like we'd forced the corner like in those early parts. Like you said, on 4 minutes, Wilson had a shot on goal. Like we were in charge of the game anyway. So for me, I think it would have just been a matter of time. But I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, it probably would have been a matter of time. But yeah, Fulham would have given us more of a game, and it would have been more toe to toe. We'll never know until they come to St James's Park, and we try to do the same again. But yeah, it wouldn't have been a 4-1 win for sure. Could have been a 2-1. Just from that format. There's Form B.
He's always on it. There was a comment earlier that you put on saying that something about he thinks that Murphy might sneak into the England squad. Jesus Christ. I know he's winding us up. But yeah, Botman does not sweat at all. He doesn't need to because that's how good he is.
Hey, the way England are playing, he might get in the England squad.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'll shut up. I'll stop talking about England. Rightio. Let's move on to the second half. And okay, the first thing, Willock chance, 48th minute, save from Lino into the corner. That's what I don't know why I put that in it, but yeah, there was kind of. The start of the first half was kind of half chances. Was a bit frustrating because you're going, come on, like kick more goals, please, come on. But then then they came again. But 56 minutes, Miggy again, ball across by Willock and tapping from Miggy. So lovely. Miggy 2 in the game and chasing a hat-trick for the rest of the game then. But thoughts on that goal, Pete?
Well worked goal again. Lovely little play. Worked it out to Murphy. Murphy plays that ball in, and what I loved about that is as Murphy's got the ball, you've got Willock bending his running. He's almost like putting his arms out as if to say, play.
He's pointing. Yeah.
He gets that ball in, and then it's about right. The one thing that that's kind of alluded is that, like in most games this season, is right. Can you get that final ball right? Can you play it across that's going to fall into the path of the man? Is the man going to make the run? Both things happened. Miggy's there, bang! Doesn't need a second invitation. Smashes it in. Yeah, just a lovely, well worked goal. It's just those little simple things. It might seem like a little simple thing, but actually they're the things that we've been missing at times this season. So it's great that all came together. It was a really nice move. And, as we've talked about, fair play for Murphy for starting it off. Nice little ball.
That's the one time that something that Murphy tried actually paid off and he did well. Like he had great intentions, but nothing else he sort of tried to do just didn't work out for him. That was my opinion really, but I'm not trying to pick holes in the performance. Well, I am trying to pick something out of the performance that could be improved upon. Rightio, we'll move on a bit. Anderson come on for Bruno on 58 minutes. We did kind of say that when Bruno comes back, expect him to only play about 60 minutes because he needs game time again, and we're winning. We're 4-0 up at that stage. So yeah, time to take Bruno off. Fraser come on for Wilson on the 65th minute. Wilson did not want to come off. He knew there was more goals in that game and more goals for him, so he wasn't happy. But wise by Eddie Howe, protect your star players. We need them for next weekend and more further games ahead up until the World Cup at the very least. Then oh yeah, then 68 minutes, Miggy put the ball in the back of the net again. Everyone thought, yes, he's got his hat trick, but no, unlucky he was offside. But then, and rightly called offside. Then Target come on for Byrne, Lascelles come on for Shar, Lewis come on for Trippier. This is all on 81st minute. Yeah, it was game over really at that stage. But you wanted them to keep the clean sheet, but yeah. So then Fulham got a goal. Corey Reed got the goal in the 87th minute. Don't really care. Don't really care. I didn't even watch it again. I know it was a header. That's all I remember. And then on the 91st minute, Fraser put the ball in the net as well, but offside. Full time. 4-1 Newcastle, and if you want to see it on the scoreboard, here's a better picture. 4-1 against Fulham, and then United Newcastle rejuvenated, second win of the season. On to next week against Brentford, and bring it on. A happy Eddie Howe. That's what we'd like to see. And of course, then it was nice of Bruno and Miggy to give a little call to Jack Grealish and say, "What do you think of that, Jack?" Thanks, Martin, for that one. But yeah, Jesus. Jack Grealish helped us. He's helped us twice now. He won us the championship that time, and he's helped in the rejuvenation of Miggy Almiron. Love it. All he needs to do now is help himself.
I was going to say Miggy's got more goals in this season. Miggy's the joint top scorer for us with 3 alongside Wilson, and yeah. Grealish is on 1 and barely kicking a ball for Man City. So yeah, he's definitely lit the sort of the rocket up Almiron. You know what Newcastle fans are like. We're going to be keeping an eye on that, on the goals and assists over the season to kind of weigh it up and see how Miggy fares. Miggy's not expected to win it, but I tell you what, if we get later on in the season and Miggy's still ahead of him,
we'll rub it in then.
Oh, we will. Well, you know what we're like, 100%. It's going to be good.
And then, of course, the bit that we're all waiting for is the team photo, the winning team photo that they always produce. We haven't seen it for a long time. I know I was speculating, will Declan Donnelly be in the picture? Will Adam P be in the picture? You suggested, Pete, perhaps. Will Grant Carroll jump in the picture? No, but it was just the lads that were there in the day, and fair play. Love that. I always love these pictures. They should bring out a calendar of all these pictures, these celebrated pictures. That's a good idea.
That's a great job. I tell you what, you if they bring that out, you should get a little bit of commission for that, because that's a great shout. Just imagine that, the 12 months of the calendar year, all
12 wins.
Yeah, that would be unreal. That would be unreal. Going into next year, it has to happen.
Yeah, if they get a few wins, they'd probably have 12 between. They probably don't have 12 yet between when Eddie Howe took over.
I don't mind.
We'll check that out. We'll email someone at the club. For charity, even the calendar for charity. That'd be great. Right. That's it from the pictures, Pete. Do you want to go to ratings, or what would you like to go to next?
Yeah, I suppose we could have a look at the ratings in a second, but yeah, just your thoughts really on just the overall play of the team. Obviously, we've talked about it being against 10 men, but what really stood out to me was the level of control. I tweeted that earlier. I put dominance like the way we dominated, and it's not always easy to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts really on just the how we kind of controlled the game. And like, is there anyone that you noticed in particular that stood out in the way in which we played? Just wanted to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
that, because we don't.
Mm,
I don't think it gets talked about enough.
yeah, and like it is kind of hard to judge it on because they were down to 10 men. So I do get that. No, but we did boss the game, and Trippier and especially in that first half, he was kind of had that bit of a free roll, which he doesn't normally have, and he was his crosses are unreal, and he was setting up everything for us. It was just, and I know the sun was in his eyes, and I think that our commentators mentioned it. He could have done with a pair of sunglasses, but yeah, it was he was controlling things in the first half. We'll get into it in the ratings, but yeah, and Miggy is my man of the match.
Ah,
But
no, I think we need to get to that, because I think
yeah,
we're both in agreement. That is one of those. It's one of those
yeah, I think
situations for
so for
sure.
sure. But
But
yeah,
I
sorry,
was
go
going
on,
to ask
Pete.
you. David R's put the question there, and it's a good question. Did Pope have any saves to make today? Yes, we know he conceded one, but I don't know if I can remember him making any particular save at all. I don't know if you noticed anything.
There was one at the corner towards the end of the game. Not it was last 20 minutes of the game. He did kind of, it was probably going wide, but he did get down to save it. No, he didn't have much to do at all. It was a quiet day for him, and especially quite in the first half. When he was kind of called upon, which was very rare, he did do the job, but and I kind of blanked out their goal, so I can't really fault anyone because I don't know how that I don't know how that it was a header, but that's all I know. It didn't matter. It was, and we had all our subs on at that stage. We were just
Yeah,
getting ready for the next game really at that
yeah,
stage. But it would have been nice to get the clean sheet, but
yeah.
not.
It would have. That's probably the only thing I was a bit frustrated about, because I was kind of in my head as the game was. I think it was about 83, 84 minutes. In my head, I was thinking, okay, I think that's our fourth clean sheet of the season. And actually, having 4 clean sheets in 8 games, that
Yeah,
50% record, that's not bad. And in my head, I was
no.
thinking, wow, like that stat there is massive for us, because we don't concede many goals. And then to concede that late on, you'd be like, oh, shit. It's one that we could have avoided. But look, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't, it really, really doesn't matter at all.
And what does matter, Pete, though, is the momentum going into the next game. Now, we're at home against Brentford, isn't it? So, I think it's at home, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's it's with the takeover week. All they talk about that now this week coming, and the anniversary of that. It's the momentum is build and build and build. I'd say it'll be unreal out there on Saturday. Absolutely unreal. So if you got a ticket for that, it's gold dust. It'll be some game. And of course, like they Coyton to Mitro say, can they Coyton Tony? That's the question that'll be talked about next week. So
Yeah.
it shall be interesting.
Definitely. I was going to say that there's a few things that I've starred here.
Let's go to questions so first. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple here. There's a couple that we'll go back to later on. It's not really a question, but Keith Roll, friend of the channel, joins us on away days as well. Evening, Keith. Hope you're well. Get in. Love it when I'm wrong about NUFC and they win. I didn't think NUFC could beat Fulham away 3 times in a row, but NUFC team goes from strength to strength. If anyone's watched the away days, you'll know that Keith is the king of sitting on the fence. He'll always say either a draw or a Newcastle loss, and then be hopefully corrected in one way, shape, or form. And I did say to him on Thursday, I hope that you're wrong about this, and we were. So, yeah, great to see from that point of view that we managed to get the win. So, great stuff from you, Keith. Yeah, there was a question here. Excellent today from Kenzie. Excellent today. Joe will be back next game. I'm sure Joe Linton is referring to. But what happened with Maxi? I don't know if you know anything or have you heard anything about Maxi, why he didn't play.
No, No, I just assumed that he wasn't 100% right, because remember he had the videos out during the week of the little dances, like celebrations. There's people saying when he scores, that's the dance he's going to do. So were kind of half expecting him to play, but just before the teams were announced, I heard, maybe an hour before, I saw people saying on Twitter that he wasn't in the squad today. So yeah, but don't know why. I presume he'll be back next weekend.
Do you think that? Do you think there's an element of Eddie Howe pulling rank and just trying to save him? Like, I think you've kind of mentioned it anyway, but pulling rank as if to say, right, we could probably risk you today, but now we're going to make sure you're 100% fit for next week. Do you think there's maybe an element of that?
Yeah. Perhaps probably is, people. I hope there's not a conspiracy theory though again about around ASM, and it goes on. So he just didn't play today. Anyway, look, we didn't need him today. It's just great. It will be great. Hopefully, great to have him back next Saturday.
Yeah,
Leave it at that. Now, if he doesn't show up next Saturday, then I will start to ask questions.
definitely. And I actually think the fact that he put the celebration Instagram sort of like message out, the video about his celebration, it almost was like he was expecting to play this weekend, and that's why maybe it could well be that Eddie Howe pulled rank and said, "No, we'll rest you, and we'll make sure you're ready next weekend." So, yeah, because I think one or two have mentioned it in the chat, but also on Twitter as well. Well, why did he put that out? Like, and then starting to maybe think this it's something it's not. It might just well be that Eddie Howe's made that decision. Just like you talked about earlier, you mentioned when he pulled off Wilson earlier, and Wilson didn't want to come off, and he's almost having to console him to say, "Look, I know you want to stay out there and get more goals, but we need to make sure that you're fit because you're important to us." And
we're 4-0 up. 4-0 up. Well, Callum Wilson, come on. Yeah. we need you for the next game.
Maybe for Brentford. Do the same again next week at Brentford almost. But
even apart from injuries, Pete, potential injuries to Callum Wilson, just to kind of have him fresher, that he hasn't had to run for that last half an hour, break himself or break down again. So correct decision. So okay, imagine if it went the other way. We were 4-0 up and he kept Wilson on the pitch, and then on the 75th minute Wilson breaks down and is out for even one game. It would be all pointing towards Eddie Howe. Why did he not take him off? So it was the right call.
Definitely. And just before we go back to talking all things the game, Michael Palmer said, "I don't get this whole Pearson loving folks have." I think he's referring to Adam Pearson. Look, I've got to say, like, both myself and Daz have been lucky enough to meet him. He's a lovely lad, really, really nice lad. And from all of us at Loaded, I think we just massively respect what he's doing with his channel. The blogs and stuff that he puts on, his commitment to go to every game, including on the 23s, including the women's matches. He travels the country far and wide, and you can't but respect that. He's not arrogant with it. He's not cocky with it. He's not, anything that maybe people would assume. He's just a genuine, down-to-earth guy that just loves reporting on the club that we all support. So, certainly from my point of view, and I'm sure Daz would agree with that. But, we've got massive respect for him, and this is why we big him up on the show, because he's a great guy.
Yeah, no, exactly, Pete. I echo what you were saying, and look, I enjoy his videos. I know when we were on Steve Rate's show before, we interacted small, but with Adam. But since we've been on Loader, we interacted a few times, and I did meet him when I was over in Newcastle at the first game. I met him twice on the same day actually, and he stops his hello to everyone. He's only a young lad, so fair play to him what he's doing. Right? Like, if I was living in Newcastle today, I'd love to be doing what he's doing. It's cool. In fairness, like, I love his video. And I saw the thing today when Adam was outside Craven Cottage and Declan Donnelly's going in, and he shouts out back to Adam. Declan Donnelly recognizes Adam P. There you go. Class. I love that.
He's so good. He's already gone in. He just needs to keep walking, and he makes a point of like turning around and goes, "Adam, how are you?" It's just like, wow, fair play.
And as it just pointed out, that everybody watches YouTube, so you never know. They might even watch Loaded. Maybe not. But yeah, no. We love Adam P as well. Any other questions, Pete, or comments?
There's a few more. I think we'll probably come back to them later on. But what I do want to say is that there's 150 in the chat. Thank you for tuning in and watching our review tonight. If you weren't here before, just click that thumbs up. Click that thumbs up. It just means more people can see the show and see the content and supporting the channel. And if you haven't already, there's one or two that I haven't recognised in the chat. Just click the subscribe button. Come and join the Loaded family. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out in between. So yeah, come and join us and click that thumbs up.
Nice one, Pete. Yeah, always jump in with that because I always leave it to the end. I forget it during the show. You're just trying to get so much bits in that you want to get in. Right, let's go to the ratings. It should be simple enough. It's just myself and yourself tonight with the ratings. Let's go start off with Nick Pope. Now he's touching a bit already. Pope, quite first half, quite second half really as well until the last to the 87 minute. I had him down before the goal went in as a 7.5. I'm going to give him 7.25 because he let in the goal.
Oh my god! Starting off with a two
in there straight away.
Oh wow! Well, look, I'm going to go 7.5. Yeah, you can't be giving 8s and 9s for a guy that barely had anything to do. The 7.5 wasn't because he was bad; it was just because he was very standing in what he did. He came to collect the balls when he had to. He swept well. He moved the ball when he needed to. He was unlucky with the goal. I think it could have been defended better. I don't put that down to him. But yeah, 7.5, I think anywhere around that's, I think, a fair assessment of his game.
Cool. Next up, Kieran Trippier has a touchdown as well. He had the freedom there, especially in the first half. Some great crosses, great passes. I'm giving him 8.5.
Yeah, I would agree. I think 8.5 is a fair assessment. I thought he was crucial to the way in which we played today, hanging on that right hand side. It kind of almost overloading Fulham's left hand side. I think it's Kazawa who came from PSG. He ended up going off injured, but he just could not handle. He could not handle that overload that we were providing. He was all over the place. And Trippier, yeah, he was good. Deliveries were good at time. I think if I'm right, I think he played the ball in for Willock, who then set up Wilson for his goal. So he was involved in everything, led the team well. 8.5 definitely.
Right, next up is Botman. Solid game, cleaned up when he needed to. Lucky that header didn't go in. I'm going to give him 8.25.
Yeah, Botman. I'm trying to stay as kind of like balanced as possible because for me, I've been giving him like a 9. That's how good I think he was today. But I'll go with the same as Trippier, 8.5. Some people will say that he didn't really have much to do, but how he defended today just didn't give Fulham a chance. They didn't give him a chance. The way he just turned over the ball, big and strong, won everything, good in attacking areas as well, just constantly caused a problem. And his ability on the ball is underrated. It really is. I would love to be able to show you, and I'll maybe do it on an away days. I'd love to show you the way in which Newcastle played, which was so effective. So all the talk will be how we played in attacking areas, but the way we controlled the ball, there was like a little triangle. There was Cher, Botman, and Bruno in this little triangle in the middle of the pitch, and the way they just kept the ball ticking over, one touch passing, bang, bang, bang. It just stopped any type of press that Fulham could give you. And it just opened up the game every single time. Botman was crucial to that. He plays everything one touch. He very rarely takes more than one touch on the ball because he's that good. I'm giving him. I'll give him the same as Trippier, 8.5, but I could have quite easily given him 9.
Cool. I'm kind of revising my ratings as we go because I've altered once and now I have to readjust all. So that's why I'm going with the obscure numbers. I'm giving Char 7.75.
Ooh, okay. Why 7.75?
Because I had him down as 7.5, but now I've adjusted everything, so I'm going to 7.75. Yeah, no, he's a solid game. He didn't really see him that much. He didn't need to see him much. He did the job when he needs to. But yeah, I saw more Botman in the game than I did O'Shard. That's why I'm giving Botman a higher rating, really. And Botman had the header, and there was one point towards the end of the match, and I was showing my little boy who decided to join me. There was the last 10 minutes, and he made it. He allowed me to point out some good tackling, so that's why I'm giving Botman the higher rating.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense because I give Shaw an 8. I thought he played well. I thought he used the ball well, defended well, particularly with Mitrovic before he went off injured. Like you said, I think Trippier and Botman had more involvements in the game overall, but Shaw was very good, so that's why I'd probably give him an 8 for that.
Right. Next, we're on to Dan Byrne playing a left back, target on the bench. Today, I'm giving Byrne 7.25. I just thought, yeah, there was times today when he was kind of shown he doesn't have the pace, and we said about Daniel James running at him, but just he's brilliant at centre back, but just a left back, he can be a potential weakness there. So if I can have Target on the bench, I wouldn't play him there.
Yeah, it was clearly a tactic. I have to be honest. When I saw the formation, I did think potentially back three.
Yeah,
with Murphy and Trippier playing as the wing backs. I did think that was it. Now, where Byrne played the majority of his game, he was almost at times a third centre back because he very rarely got past the halfway line. He never really ventured forward like a target would, so he kept quite defensive. So it was clearly a tactic to stop them playing. But yeah, he didn't stand out. He wasn't amazing. The things that he did well. He's not the fastest. So anyone with pace, and you talked about Dan James earlier, they are going to look lightning up against him. But, he kept pace with them. His big, long legs are always going to give him an extra stride or two to keep up there. So he was never really destroyed at any point by any of them. No. So for me, 7.5, I think probably is around anywhere around that is about a fair reflection.
Yeah, and just like when I think back, like when he was done for pace, he did get back. He did recover, so that he has it in. It's just for future games. We are going to get caught out sometime if he continues to play there. It's a mistake about to happen. So let's see, I guess. Right, on to Sean Longstaff. I'm giving Sean Longstaff, obviously he got a goal as well. 7.75. He did a job today. He was running everywhere. Came in, I suppose, instead of Joe Linton today. And yeah, I give him 7.75.
I'm going to up my score. I'm going to give him an 8.5 for Sean Longstaff. Obviously, he scored a goal. He was in the right position, right time, which is key. Mm-hmm. But I thought he used the ball really well. I thought he was intelligent with his balls. I don't think he gave it away too often. I thought he kept it quite simple, which is what you need when you're a man up and you just need to keep that possession and keep things ticking. I liked what I saw from him today in a game where it wasn't quite straightforward. So yeah, for me, at 8.5, I thought he did quite well.
Okay, cool. Bruno, I'm going to give him an 8. Now, I know Bruno was outstanding, and he orchestrated everything in the field, on the pitch, and everything goes to him as always. And I absolutely love Bruno; he's my favorite player. But the reason why I said 8, I'm trying to justify giving him an 8. That's kind of weird. I said not higher than an 8, but yeah, it's just I suppose he did have to come off on the 60 minute because we need to save him for himself and for the future game. So 8 for Bruno.
Yeah, for me, I was going to go 8.5. So I think we're around exactly the same ballpark. really, in terms of his performance. He just controlled the game, got his assist for the Miggy goal, controlled the game. I don't think anyone got anywhere near him during the time that he was on the pitch. He's just that unplayable guy that just, when you get the ball, it's just so hard to get the ball off. But he didn't obviously play the full game. He came off quite early, again wrapping him up in cottonwood, and rightly so. The game was done. I thought he was brilliant, just back to his brilliant self. And it was great to see, because again, there were still question marks about whether he was going to be fit and ready to play the game, but he just makes the game look easy. 8.5 is probably one of the lowest ratings we'll give him this season, but he's still fantastic.
Yeah, and I like the way you're 0.5 ahead of me and all the selections.
It's not planned, honestly. I know. I have a figure in my head and I just stick to it.
It's like you're trying to outbid me. Right, let's go with Willock next. The first half for Willock, he potentially get that goal. He could have got in. It could have been his the first goal, and then the Wilson got the tap in. But yeah, as we said earlier, Wilson had to make sure of it. And Willock had some great moves, great play in that game today. I'm giving Willock 8.5.
Yeah, I have to agree. He was very much an unsung hero today in that game. You know, although he gets a couple of assists, but the work that he did in between those moments were fantastic. His runs into the box, the way he stretches defenders. You know, if any time they wanted to try and counterattack, he'd just create a little opening or a little bit of movement that would push any of their midfielders the opposite way to have to defend. And that's just so crucial in a game. I thought he was brilliant. He had the legs. His energy levels were on point. He was unlucky not to score. I just thought he was really kind of back to his best in that performance. It almost reminded me of a similar performance when, in a similar situation, when we beat Brentford away last season. He had a very similar performance. He scored in that game, but he just looked that type of player, and he looks in form. It's great to see.
So you're 8.5 as well there, Pete?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to Miggy. The wonder goal on the 32nd minute. The other tap in from the Willock ball at the 56th minute. For me, unlucky that he didn't get the hat trick with the goal ruled offside. For me, 9.9999999. Because if it was going to count it, he would have got the 10. I know, I'll give him the 10. Might as well. So yeah, well done, Miggy. What a turnaround from where he was towards the end of last season to where he is now. Fair play to him. Hats off to him.
Yeah. In my head, I had 9.5 for Miggy. 2 goals. The first goal alone probably gets you a 9 anyway, because it's just out of this world. But you know, actually, he had a good game. He played well, stretched the defenders. Should have had a hat trick, really. Was unlucky. His connections with Bruno Guimaraes is just a joy to watch. They've just got like telepathy at times. Really, really intelligent play, and he really seems to be coming into his own. Great performance. Nice to see him get a couple of goals. Hopefully he can take this into Brentford, because this is what Miggy does. He kind of has these moments where he has great games, and then you don't really see him back to back scoring goals. We did in pre-season, but we don't really see him during the season get these back to back goals. It'd be lovely to see him get another one at Brentford and kind of go on a bit of a run. But 9.5, fantastic.
9.5. 9.5. You would lower than me that time, Pete. Wow.
Yeah.
And Michael Palmer as well. It was criticizing me there for my marks. The reason I think I justified it, but because he only played 60 minutes. I agree with you. Bruno is outstanding. He's always outstanding. And he's if he was on the pitch for longer, his rating would be. So I have to give him something to build up to. So if I hand out 9s now to him, what do he have to play for next week? I have to give him something to play for, because they all watch these shows.
Of course. Look, we know, Daz, is that like we get hammered for giving them a low mark, we get hammered for giving them a high mark. You can't win. But look, I get where Michael's coming from. But like you said, Daz, I think it's a fair reflection. He wasn't on the pitch for long in the second half, so can you really justify giving him any higher?
Yeah, it's like he got an 8. He didn't get any assists, he didn't get any goal. He still got an 8. Should be happy. You can go home playing FIFA tonight and be happy.
You still want to play FIFA? I'm still waiting.
I'll take him on later. Right, let's go to Murphy. Murphy, and like on a normal day, Murphy should be delighted. I'm giving him 7. But look, Murphy had a great game, but it's nothing worked out for him. That's the thing. It just seems that you mentioned one thing that did work out. He passed it to Willock, and then Willock could have if Willock was putting the pass into to Miggy for that goal, he would have overhit it or something. Because everything, it just didn't work out. It didn't click for him. If it clicked today, he could have been man of the match because he was involved with absolutely everything. What's Richie said?
Dishing out the ratings again, then increasing them. So you're guessing how many is it persuaded lads to get?
Richie, I haven't even watched the match, Richie. Haven't even seen it. Don't know what happened. What was the score? Right, Pete, your thoughts on? No, I didn't finish. No, Murphy, he had a good game, but it's just nothing came off from him. So, but it was positive. He has something to build on. 7.
Yeah, I was going to give him as a 7.5. I thought he did okay today. I think it's been one of his better games he's had for Newcastle this season. When he's come on, he's been ineffective in other games, but I thought he did okay today. So I think 7.5 is a fair reflection of his performance. Still got lots to work on, still could be more productive in his final ball, all of that sort of stuff. But for the benefit of the game and the way the game played out, 7.5 is fine.
Cool. Last player we give a rating on is Wilson. I'm going to give Wilson an 8. He got the goal, the tap in, and that's what he's there for as well. The tap ins, look at that. And Nicole made a career of that. And he did come off on the for the 65th minute. Fraser come on. He wasn't happy to come off, as we said. He smelled more goals for him on the pitch. 8 is a fair enough rating for him with the goal. And great to see him back though, and he's coming off the pitch fresh for the Brentford game.
I'll go with that. I'll go with an 8. You're getting hammered here, by the way.
Adam's out for me now. The knives out. I wasn't the only one. If you watch that back,
Richie's agreeing with him.
Richie, I thought you were out walking the hedgehog tonight.
I love it. Oh, brilliant. They always come for you with the Murphy talk, don't they?
Look, if it means that Murphy turns the corner and starts playing as good as Almiron, I'll take it. I'll take the hits.
Wilson, I agree. 8. Scored it. He said it himself. It was a bit of a tap in. He should have scored one before that, where he's kind of flicked a foot at it. He had another one in that half where he turned the defender really well and then just kind of curled it just over the bar. He could have had a hat trick himself. It could have been 4-5-0 at half time. But 8's I think a fair reflection. Great to see him back, like you said. Eddie Howe made the right decision by taking him off, protecting him, because we don't know the situation with Isaac. They say, Eddie Howe saying he's back in running, he's already running it and stuff in training. Is he going to risk him next week, or is he going to do what he did with ASM with Isaac and give him another week? I don't know. But what we do know is that we need Callum Wilson fit and firing for Brentford. So 8 for me.
You know what I'm thinking now, Pete? Could I get one of these made with Richie? I might get one of these made with Richie. What do you think? I'll start that out. So that's that's the ratings. And I know there's probably more comments and questions.
Yeah.
But let's look at the table and see where we are, the lofty heights we are. Here it is. So all the way down in seventh position, that's where we are after 8 games, 11 points. Delighted with that. 1 point behind Man United, and they have 2 games in hand. But we're playing them soon enough. It's on the next 2 games or so. We're playing them. They seem to be in a bit of a run. But happy with that, Pete. We jump over Fulham to get to seventh spot there. Look at Liverpool are back in ninth. But yeah, and if you want to scroll down towards the bottom of the table, who's down there? Leicester, who have to play on, I think, Monday night they play. And Wolves. Wolves are having a disaster of a season so far. And of course, little Dan won't be happy with that.
I tell you what, obviously, as we were talking as well with Richie and Chris, and Battleground Europe will be returning. For those that watched it last time, it's a fantastic show. Looking at those fighting for Europe, it will be returning, and little Dan will be back on. I'll be honest, I watched that game tonight against West Ham, and I don't think West Ham were great at all. I thought they were dreadful, and they won 2-0. So that says a lot about where Wolves are at the moment. They did not look good at all. But yeah, hello to all my Leicester mates that are likely to be watching this show. Hope you're okay. And to be fair, I think there's a few of them that are hoping for a defeat on Monday. So Brendan Rodgers gets the chop because the owners are going to be at the game for the first time in a long while, apparently. So that will be interesting. So that could potentially, if Leicester don't win, that might well spell the end of Brendan Rodgers. So yeah, look, watch this space. But look, it's great to see. It's great to see you looking at that bottom half of Newcastle and nowhere to be seen. And we are Eddie Howe's seventh placed Mags. And yeah, look, it's
all the way up there.
We are. And you know what, Daz? Like, we were talking about it before we came on, and we said, like, for all the talk in the build up to this game that we've only won 1 in 7 and we've drew a shed load of games.
Yeah.
Considering we've only won 2 games and we're sitting in 7th place, I don't see that as too bad. I think that's a bloody good position to be in right now, bearing in mind we've only won 2. And yes, we should have won more.
And we played Man City and we played Liverpool. Sorry.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. I'd love that. Okay, obviously, let's look forward to the next game, Brentford, and hopefully at home get 3 points there. Then we take on Man United, and that I said at the start of the season I want us to finish ahead of Man United. So bring it on.
That won't be the aim, surely.
Yeah.
Finishing with the Man United. So, I mean, they're a point ahead of us at the moment. Yes, they've got a couple of games in hand, but tomorrow they play against Man City. We expect Man City to win that game, of course, which then only leaves them a point ahead of us. I don't know who they have next week. Don't really care, but we have Brentford. If we beat Brentford, we go on to 14 points.
Brentford drew today, did they? I think they drew.
Yeah, away at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
So, it's not like they were good. That again, that's another game that they would have expected to win, and it just shows you for how much Brentford have been bigged up this season. They went to Bournemouth and couldn't break them down either. So, is that a case of Bournemouth are set up very, very well? Could well be, which is why they got a point against us. So, sometimes these things have a way of coming back round, and I just think if we can get a win at Brentford and being 9 games in and having 14 points, you think of how long it took us to get to 14 points last year.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? We're well on the way. And
anyhow, look back a year ago. We're still this time last year. We still had Steve Bruce. We still had Mike Ashley. We still had everything bad that we've blocked out now. So the dark days. I think was it Wolves we played the last game before the takeover and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're in a much better place and going in the right direction as well. And if if the season was to finish right here, right now, I'd be absolutely delighted to finish seventh. I wouldn't be happy that Man United were still ahead of us, but I'd be happy that we finished seventh.
Definitely, and as we mentioned as well before we came on, that seventh place would get you Europa Conference, which brings you European football, and that would take us to the next phase of this project in terms of the players coming in terms of the money generated. That would be a fantastic position to be in. Look, Bobby's put on there seventh with so many injuries, a new player setting in is very positive. You're absolutely right. Michael's putting as well, I would take seventh at the end of the season. Who wouldn't? You're absolutely spot on with that. Seventh would get us in Europe. So yeah, absolutely. So the lots are in agreement with regards to that. And saying about seventh place and how beneficial it would be to get that position at the end of the season. And I think if anyone, I don't know whether you would agree with this, but I think everyone would say that seventh place is probably the best we would have expected this season.
Like at the start of the season, I said eighth or higher, and that was depending on who we brought in, because that was really early on before the season started. So, and I'd still gladly take eighth now if the season finished, but there's the potential to go higher because we haven't had we haven't lost many, but we've got a lot of draws, and there's points there to be got, and there's goals in this team now as well, with Wilson and Isak when he's back in, and we still have to see what happens when the two of them are fully fit and ASM back. We have an awful lot to look forward to, like so much to look forward. Even it's all those little things that are absolutely massive for us that we have to look forward to. And we've already signed our first players in the season in Garang Cole as well. So you look at of the January transfer window.
Yeah.
So it's again we've that to look forward to as well, and I'm sure they'll bring in one or two maybe in January. So if there is in a fighting distance as well towards potential higher places, you never know how they might look at it. But yeah, so much to look forward to. So
I don't know if I can mentally prepare myself for the January transfer.
No, I know. It'll only be a month. It'll only be a month, Pete. Not 3 months like last time.
Oh God, the summer was amazing, but also just like mentally draining with all those links. I don't know if I can do it again, but yeah, we will. We'll be back. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Dan's put in there after 8 games last season, we had 3 points. So there you go. We already made fantastic progress. And look, what it does is that it takes the worry of the fans away completely, because we're sitting in the top half of the table. It makes the players feel more confident about. You imagine the likes of Shaw and Botman and Wilson and even the ones that weren't there, like Bruno and but ASM, for example, Isak, particularly Isak and Botman, who are new to the club, and they're looking at where we were this time last year and looking at where we are now, and they're looking at seventh and they're thinking, fucking, like, we're in a good spot here. And you touched on it just there. ASM has been injured, out for weeks. Wilson's been injured, out for 6 weeks. Bruno's been injured, out for weeks. Isak, you know what I mean? Like, we've had pretty much all of our better players out injured for a period of time, and we've still managed to be where we are, even with those injuries. You imagine if they come back fit and we've got a regular run of games where they actually play together. And actually, there was a fun fact that I hadn't been aware of, and it was only until I listened to Eddie Howe's press conference that Callum Wilson and Alexander Isak haven't even trained together. They've not trained together since he signed for the club, because when he signed, Wilson was injured. And then when Wilson came back, Isak was on international duty, then became injured. So they haven't actually trained together. You imagine those two starting to play and understand each other. It's gonna take us on to.
It's going to be so interesting. As I said, I started playing FIFA last night, and I had the problem. How do I get Wilson and Isak into the team? I have to change my tactics. That's Eddie Howe's problem now. How is he going to judge that? And we all wait with bated breath when that day comes. So let's bring it on. And as we said as well, what a day for Grant Cole to come and watch Newcastle. He must be going, Is it like this every week? Bring it on! You can't wait to get started. Get on loan, get that done and back as quick as I can. Try and break into this team. But Pete, let us. You probably have more questions, but I want to say what's coming during the week because we are kind of just making it up. I'm not going to say as we're going along, but we have a few ideas. Where we definitely going to have a show on Thursday. So and we're kind of putting that together at the moment. We're starting to talk about how we're going to put it. So Thursday is going to be our, even though Takeover Day is 7th of October, we're not going to go early as we did on the night because we kind of knew it was coming on that Thursday night. So we're going to go to Thursday night again and have a takeover special. And the makeup of that show, we're kind of putting it together at the moment. So that is one to look forward to on Thursday night. Don't even have the time yet, but we'll sort that out. And Pete, you told me as well, we were thinking about having a show on Monday. So stay tuned for that. We might have some kind of a show on Monday to look forward to as well with the guest. So keep that in mind, and us, we could drop a show at any time. So make sure you're subscribed, and you'll get the notification for when the show will drop, and we'll remind everyone on Twitter as well.
We'll try and squeeze in away days as well.
Oh, that's right.
The build up to the Brentford game with all the takeover talk, we will look to the next game and try and squeeze in an away day somewhere. So again, keep an eye on that one. That, to be fair, that could pop up at any time. And I'll have to fit that because it's my birthday next week, so I've got to also spend time with the family too. So we'll have to try and wrangle that round somewhere.
What are we going to get you for your birthday? We got you the takeover last year. What are we going to get you this year?
I just want FIFA, if I'm honest. I just want to play FIFA. I'm just like everyone else is playing it, loving it.
Would you take a James Madison? Rightio. Let's give a quick shout out to the sponsors as well, Pete. Just a shout out to shyburns.com and the range that Simon has available on his website. Check it out for the latest. Also, the home of the loaded t-shirts, the normal loaded t-shirt in a variety of different colors, and the Way Days version of the which is also available in a range of different colors. If you didn't like the yellow, there's plenty of other colors there available as well. So check that out. Shout out to Pins and Prints and the range that Dean has there, and I'm sure there's other stuff on this site now. We'll have to get in your pictures or go check out what the latest range is from Dean. Shout out to Machine House as well, and Marty Machine House, and this is the new T-shirt here he has going, and so check that out. Nice T-shirt, and he's got hoodies, and check out the latest range. And this one goes in and out of stock, so nab that one if it comes up because it does sell out fast. Love that hoodie. So that is Machine House, and also to Dean and the Jolly Rise and the range that Dean has available there. Go check that out as well. So shout out to Dean. That is it for the subscriber. Sorry, for the sponsors and the shows coming next week. Any other questions, Pete, you want to touch on?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few in there. So I'll come to them now. Keith, Double O Stato's come with a question. Which goal is better, the one against Palace last season or the one against Fulham today?
We had this question on WhatsApp, didn't we? Richie put this on. I think I really commented on it anyway. God, I'd have to see both. I absolutely love the one that is against Palace. This is probably better. This is probably better, I think. But a follow on to this before we get your answer, Pete, is the goal. If Newcastle players keep winning goal of the month, the goal of the season will be very interesting.
Definitely. It has to be this one for me.
Yeah.
The technique on the volley, it's coming. It's almost coming over his shoulder as it's coming down. Now
I'm watching it again.
It's easier. It's easier for him to hit it on his right foot but we know he hasn't got a right foot. So to then take it on his left foot when it's coming over his left shoulder, it just makes it even more special. So for me, it has to be goal of the month. If it's not, I'll be stunned. It's definitely better than Palace goal for sure.
Right. The way he hits with his left foot, just put myself in that position. You have to hit it with the right. Now I'm right-footed, but if it was the other side, I don't know. It was just some finish, unreal. You're gonna if
I
you
feel like
haven't
we're
seen
doing,
it,
I feel like we're doing
already, you're going to look forward to the match today later on or something. So, but it's on Twitter though. Check it out.
As you're watching the goal back, I feel like I'm on a loaded match day live. Like you're talking this through the goal, and, and we're just like all waiting to see what's actually happened. Like on a
Yeah,
news
I
day.
know because I was tempted to put it on this thing, but it would have been the show would have been shut down if I put it on. So, so I just keep watching it over and over again and repeat in slow motion. Just sorry, I stopped looking at it. Right, that's the last tweet.
Yeah, a couple more. I say a couple more. There's a few more. Well, it's not really a question, but yeah, just Michael just bigging up Botman. Thought Botman was immense today. Bruno around the show midfield, trips outstanding. Miggy outside of his goals was everywhere. Great team performance, even before they went to 10. Yeah, which is what we said before. But yeah, just that paying homage to Sven Botman there. David Cook says, what happens when Isak comes back? Miggy or ASM bench? You alluded to this already just a minute ago, Daz. So what are you going to do? What happens?
Well, what I did in FIFA was I come up with a new tactic, but it was kind of a more a weird kind of looking 4-4-2. But so and I brought in Tillemans as well. But I think I put Joe Linton on as well into it. Yeah, will he go with the two of them up front? I can't see him changing from the way he's been playing all the way along. Now he hasn't had two strikers. Well, even though he had, even when we had Wood and Wilson, he never contemplated having the two of them on. I don't know. I really don't know.
From my point of view, I think because Wilson scored, and if he keeps scoring, he'll start. But as soon as Wilson drops his level, Isak will come in. I don't think they'll play together. I think if we're chasing a game, I think he'll bring off a Miggy and put him on and maybe play them both up front. But I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think we'll see them both start a game.
Okay,
I think it'll be one or the
other. That is the more likely thing to happen, right? And knowing the way Eddie Howe plays, as we all do now, that would make sense. But we're all going to be thinking, oh, we want to see the two of them play together as well. But yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. It could be interesting to see how it unfolds. But isn't it a great thought that we've got these kind of conundrums to? Well, we don't even have to make the decision, but Eddie Howe does. Rather than are we going to be playing Kraft or Matty Longstaff? No disrespect to them. We're looking at better quality players. Chris Wood, for example, Dwight Gale. No more arguments about Dwight. Give Dwight Gale a game. He deserves to start. No, because he can't even get in the Stoke squad. He's on the bench for them every week. He tells you everything you need to know. A couple more here, slightly away from Newcastle, but always nice to bring this topic up. Thoughts with West Bromwich Albion fans? Bruce with 1 win in 11 this season, 0 wins in 8 with his last season, which is right. Yeah, David R. spot on. That is 1 win in 19 season opening matches. People are still saying we were mad to sack him. Wow. If the reports are correct, after their defeat, there was a last-minute defeat today against Swansea, 3-2. They lost at home. There are talks that Bruce is about to be sacked. Now, there's been no confirmation on that. Wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if we see that ping up in the next couple of hours or tomorrow morning. But yeah, you're absolutely right, David, to bring it up.
They were mad to give him the job in the first place. Like West Brom, I'm just looking at their table now. They're 21st. They're 4th bottom in the championship. They were always a yo-yo team up in the Premier League, down, up, down, up, down. Now,
when he took over the role, they were in the top 6.
Yeah.
In the back end of the season, where you would expect them to kick on. So everyone thought they were getting promoted, and I saw. If you haven't seen it yet, get my pronunciation right. If you haven't seen it yet, there's a tweet out, and it was from a comment just after Bruce had took the job at West Brom, and he was basically Robbie Savage on BT Sport saying, "Oh, what would the reaction be if Bruce goes up with West Brom and Newcastle goes down?" And he just justified the point of saying that that's the kind of manager he would be. They could be no further away right now, unless they were in League One, like in terms of where they are, in terms of both managers and club. And actually, what I've seen tonight is a lot of tweets from West Brom fans saying, "You know what, Newcastle United fans were right, that they did warn us." And they want him out.
Yeah, no, and I hope they get him out as well, because look, they do deserve to be heading towards the Premier League and probably coming back right down again. But that was always their level kind of thing. So yeah, bad mistake bringing Bruce in.
Definitely. Before the last question, David Odds put another comment in again, but there was a bit of pressure on Eddie today. A record of 1 win in 8 wouldn't have made a great reading. I thought he spoke superbly well yesterday and seemed confident we would win today. 1 defeat in 8. So David Odds looking at the positives now, which is great. And you're absolutely right. 1 defeat in 8 rather than 1 win in 8.
Yeah, and it just shows that what 1 win can do. You just change your perspective on everything, you know. Look, if you get to win against Brentford at home at next Saturday, look, it's on we go. EIO up the Premier League we go. So onwards and upwards. But yeah, we still love Eddie. We never lost the faith.
Never. I'll never lose the faith in Eddie Howe, because I knew what he was capable of, and we now are all seeing what he's capable of doing with this club and this group of players. So yeah, always back Eddie through everything. And the last one, you guys reckon we'll bring in another big signing in January, potentially a midfielder? What do you think?
I think we will. I wouldn't be surprised. There's an awful lot of talk and rumors as well. Actually, yeah, the show the other day, we were probably getting linked to about 5 players already. So it's starting to build up. But yeah, there's the whole potentially going back in for Maddison, especially with Leicester, where they're going. Then there's the talk of Tielemans, but I can't see Tielemans coming to us now, because he's going to have his pick, really, because he's going to be free transfer, and he can talk to European clubs in January, and then open to go to anywhere in after that. So even though I love him at Newcastle, yeah, I think we will bring in a midfielder in January.
Yeah, I think Maddison's the aim. I have to say, I think if Leicester are still in that position where they're not necessarily bottom of the league, but in the bottom half of the table and still losing games and drawing games and struggling in general, I think Maddison will really push the leave, and I think he'll be the guy that we'll go out for. And I'm super excited at the potential of someone like Maddison coming in to add to what we've already got in terms of this quality first 11 when they're all fit and firing. But yeah, super excited. I did say it was the last question, but actually, Jonathan Greenwood, evening, Johnny. Great to have you,
Johnny. How's it going, Johnny?
I think it's the Johnny from Newcastle Fans TV. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, it's great to have him on. What would be a respectable amount of goals that Miggy should aim for this season? Great question.
Well, he's got. I'm guessing he has 3 now, because I had his picture in for a goal already. So that's why I know he's already scored 1. So he's got 3. You know, he went so long without scoring before. I'm happy with his return he's got already. But no, he should be trying to aim for 10. 8 should be his target. 8, just on the way he's going. Why not try and push it towards 8? But when, as you mentioned to Pete, when Isak is back, there will be a bit of a rotation. You know how they switch things up, or if we go goal behind, someone needs to come off, and maybe might be that player to come off if it happens. So, but 8, I give him 8 to target for. But he's already had probably his best season first.
Yeah, definitely. Richie thinks 7, 8. Paul Gallant thinks 7. Jonathan thinks 10 should be the aim. If he improves his right foot, then he's got a great chance at getting double figures. Yeah, I would say as an aim, this is not like if he doesn't get it, this is the worst thing ever. But I would say, yeah, anything between 8 and 10 goals should be the target. I think we talked about ASM and we talked about he got 10 goal contributions last season, so 5 goals, 5 assists. I think his aim this season in terms of goal contributions should be around 15. So that should take his number up from 5 to maybe 8 goals, 9 goals this season, hopefully. With Miguel Almiron, his goal contributions this season should be around 10 or 12, hopefully. So if we get 10 goals out of him and a couple of assists, great. Or even if you mixed it round and you got like 8 goals, 4 assists, I'd be happy with that too. But anything around the 7-8 mark, I think is a more than fair assessment, providing that he's getting assists as well. I think we need more goals from midfield this season, in my opinion. But yeah, I think you're spot on, Daz. I think that's a more than fair assessment. Neil Davies says should be aiming for 10 goals. I think we're all around the same sort of ballpark figure.
As long as he keeps in the same trajectory he's on already, fair play to him. Like it's been a massive turnaround for him, and the commentators commented as well today. Just great to see the smile on his face. He's absolutely buzzing at the moment. And if it is the Johnny from Newcastle Fans TV, and we had mentioned Adam earlier, and a great lad, and also the lads in Newcastle Fans TV, great set of lads as well. And I did bump into them at the Forest games at the start of the season as well, and great to meet the lads.
John says as long as I think we're all in agreement with that 100%. If he gets more contributions than Grealish this season, I think we'll all be celebrating. I think they'll be making that call again at the end of the season to ask the question. Ian, hope you're feeling better from all of us at Loaded. He says he's got some COVID symptoms.
Get well.
Not feeling too well, but yeah, always a great supporter of the channel. But yeah, I'd love to have a live feed on that call they make to Grealish at the end of the season. We'll get those more goals and assists.
Nice one. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Thanks Pete for you joining me as well. Shout out to Chris, Richie, and our old friend Martin as well, that might be watching in. But yeah, we'll be back, as you said. I think we're going to be back on Monday now, and we'll definitely be back on Thursday, and there'll be in away days, and who knows, that something else may drop. So make sure you hit that like button from this show, and make sure you hit subscribe if you're new. And thanks everyone for sticking with us. Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. Oh. Oh.